It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Tonight, let us make them remember we are not afraid!
Oh, no fear, but we are relatively concerned here on Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, IA from the BEA beautiful studios of Freedoms with an S, freedomsphoenix.com. Now, we just spent Saturday out there at Quartzsite in 115 degree, oh my goodness, in support of officers that, they said, hey, we don't want to, we're going to take this oath of office seriously, this time. We're kind of, whatever transgressions they may have had before, there's got to be a line somewhere, and we found it, and it's damn. So we're not going to be in support of what our chief of police is doing in support of whatever the heck's going on out there. So they decided we're going to do a letter and say, hey, man, we're not in support of this. That's what gets you suspended. Now, of course, they want the city council and friends and everybody and the police chief want to fire them, but we got a ruling from Superior Court judge saying, well, you got to have a termination hearing and go through, and we want to have all these questions asked and answered, and county prosecutors got to do whatever. Well, now we find out, my thing was, look for where the money is, look for who's gotten control of the land, who's set up whatever to, funnel all kinds of goodies up to who's going to benefit financially. Talk to the original mayor there when they first incorporated Richard Oldham, which was the second mayor to take place there, tried to have him killed and was convicted for contracting and putting a hit on him. Oh, that's good. And even thought he was dead. They did pictures, ketchup on him out in the desert, and the guy paid off and going to jail. Well, then he was let out for health reasons and died later. After years later, decades later, here comes Ed Foster. Man, this is a messed up soup as a citizen. He's just, hey, guys, we need somebody to go up there and just ask the right question. We'll vote for you. You go in there and you find out where the money's going and what's going on. Tell us the truth. We're all over it. Well, he did. And they go, no, 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 no. The original mayor, Richard Oldham, I talked to Saturday, and I said, I don't even have to scratch the surface. I already know where this is going. What started it, where it came from, who's, what. And he goes, you are right. It was, I don't even know the guy's name. It was a city prosecutor, city attorney there that kind of set up some way you can financially benefit, and then to make sure he continued it on up and protect his investment and that of the other people he was working with. Now he's at the county. Well, that's why you're not getting any help from the county. So here we go. Now they get a recall on, they go out and you don't have to get a whole lot of signatures, so the bad guys go out and get, signatures to put Ed Foster up. So what happens? One of the city councilmen resigns, and then they appoint one of their buddies to fill his place, and this guy's running against Ed Foster today. Today is the recall election, Ed Foster. I got Ed Foster on. I got you with me?
Yeah, I'm here, Ernie.
Okay, now let's go ahead and remind the folks where Quartzsite is. Quartzsite, I got a map up. It's about halfway between Los Angeles and Phoenix, and it's out in the middle of the nothing. Now, as you zoom in, you start to see that just across the river, it's like 30 miles from the Colorado River, that's to the west of it, and you'll see right on the other side of the river is a big green agricultural valley there. And then on the other side of the river, Quartzsite sits on big, giant bunch of water. Could be the same thing. You got 95 going right through from Interstate 8 down by Yuma, coming from the border, going straight through. Quartzsite going all the way up to Parker and Las Vegas. So this is kind of, for a lot of reasons, Quartzsite has great value for future development. Quartzsite has a push pin in it. Now, your race today is really a referendum from the people, or recall, on what? What are the issues that vote for me and it's a vote for or against whatever, vote for the other guy, it's a vote for or against what? What's going on?
It's a vote about open government, Ernie. I mean, it starts with the checks, and it starts with many other things that the citizens want to have answers to, about free speech at council meetings. It's all about that. Today is a referendum on how the officers were treated by this council, when the council walked out on them and Mr. Lizarga let them out. So that's also an issue in this election. And so far today, it looks like this election is going to set a record turnout, even out here in the middle of nowhere in August.
Really?
Really. We found out that there's been, actually, when I won in a regular election, it set a record. There were 652 votes cast, but there were only like 250 early votes. This morning, we were told there had already been 320 early ballots turned in, and the voting has been fairly consistent all day long out here. We're sitting outside the polling place right now, monitoring the vote, but somebody's gotten to the county, because this election, there's no police presence here. Everything's calm. Nobody's taking pictures of us out here electioneering outside the polling place. It's been a very calm, well-managed election today. So,
well, attention will do that. Now, the instance last time where they had brought in a bunch at the last minute, at the end of the day, a bunch of early ballots or mail-in ballots or pre-filled out, went out and helped the little old ladies vote ballots. That's already happened, or do you anticipate another stack? Or
that's a legal thing to do. Is you can do that no matter what. But I too, I've had calls from all over the country. People that in Quartzsite, in July and August, they usually bail out of the town. Nobody wants to be out here when it's 115 to 120 degrees. But I've had calls from all over the country that people have been calling and telling, well, I got my ballot, I voted for you. So, I mean, that's happened. I'm playing that side of the game too. So, actually, the large turnout, I think it's favorable to my candidacy versus the status quo for them.
Okay, now tell me about I'm usually fairly familiar with how elections go and who counts and all that kind of stuff. Let's walk it through. So, hey, go to one precinct in court. It's small enough. You got one voting place, and that voting place is what? What kind of building is that?
It's the Quartzsite Senior Center, and basically there are three machines that we get votes cast through. There's one here in the polling place, which they zero it out in the morning, and everybody puts their ballots in it, and then they run another cash register tape on the end of the day, and they modem the result to the county. This morning,
they modem.
Yeah,
it's like okay, all right, go ahead.
You got the receipt there. I go up and check it later to make.
Yeah,
sure
receipt don't mean nothing to me. I want to count the damn paper. What spits out the end of the thing doesn't mean anything to me. What did the paper say?
Anyhow, the same process happens in Parker at the county seat. There's a second machine there, and they run the early ballots. And then they have a third machine, which they reserve until Friday now, 3 days after the election. Because if you mailed your ballot in today, it has 3 days to get to the county. If it's postmarked today and it ends up in the county by Friday, they will then run all those ballots. And if you didn't have your driver's license or something here today and you had something wrong and you say, well, I want to vote, you vote with a provisional ballot. So that third machine is, after those conflicts have been resolved by the county recorder's office, the last vote is the Friday when the last of the ballots are collected, and then that's the final.
So when
vote.
when you got the 3 days to go to the county, are they sent to the city clerk and they deliver it, or does it go straight to the county?
Go straight to the county recorder's office. Because at the county recorder, any ballot that's in a...
Well, isn't the former city attorney there in Quartzsite kind of, got his fingers on a bunch of stuff? Isn't he over at the county now?
Yeah, but see, he's an administrator.
Oh, I feel so much better. I feel so. Oh, well, you can tell me all about it. You know, where my conspiracy isn't valid when you come back.